In the silent depths of space, Kelmer and Zeta sat side by side on the bridge of the massive Thake ship orbiting Earth. The ship was equipped with the most advanced technology in the galaxy, its wide metallic surface gleaming like a black mirror absorbing sunlight, more like an orbital station than a traditional spacecraft. Inside, the control panels flickered with neon blue lights. Kelmer's long, bony fingers hovered over a holoscreen, his narrowed eyes scanning through important reports. Humans, Kelmer said, without taking his eyes off the screen, are progressing much faster than our earlier analyses indicated. The reports about their plans to use predator animals in battle have been confirmed. Zeta sighed deeply, leaning back in his chair with a somewhat careless and self-assured demeanor. He had grown bored with the monotony of conquering different planets over the years, and to him, humans were far from being a threat. Predators? Tigers, wolves, and sharks? Even if they arm all those wild creatures, they'll still be no match for Thake technology. They'll be annihilated before they get close to our war machines. But Kelmer was more cautious. He didn't dismiss the potential of humans so easily. These aren't just simple animals, he said. Humans might have learned to use them in ways we don't understand. We shouldn't underestimate their adaptability. This planet's nature has a warrior spirit. Zeta chuckled mockingly, shaking his head as he glanced at the rotating holographic image of Earth. Nature. We've subdued nature with our technology. They're merely following in the footsteps of these primitive beasts. What could they possibly do against an empire as powerful as ours? Just then, an alarm echoed throughout the command ship. An officer approached them briskly. "Sir," he said in a trembling voice, "a new offensive mechanism developed by the humans using animals has been discovered. May I have your permission to share the footage with you?" Kelmer gave a nod of approval. A battle scene appeared on the large screen. Amid vast forests and mountains, seemingly plucked from the wilds of Earth, heavily armored tigers, roaring wolves, and armor-clad giant eagles emerged. These animals weren't merely part of the wilderness. Every movement they made was lethally coordinated. The shining armor they wore was a testament to the perfection human technology had added to their primal strength. The wolves, with helmets emitting sound waves, unleashed vibrations powerful enough to disorient their enemies. The tigers, with laser-focused targeting systems, attacked with swift and deadly precision from great distances. The eagles, diving from the sky, tore apart their enemies with surgical strikes. This wasn't a chaotic assault, but a well-organized war tactic. As Zeta watched the footage, his expression grew serious. He finally began to grasp what the humans had done. "This is a fusion of technology and nature," he whispered. Kelmer turned to him, nodding in agreement. "Not just animals in armor. These are death machines integrated into warfare. It shows how humanity has learned to dominate nature." Still, Zeta found it hard to accept. "Even so," he insisted, "these animals only possess raw strength. They cannot stand against our tactical intelligence and superior technology." Kelmer remained silent, continuing to read the latest reports on the humans. Scientific analyses showed that these animals weren't just armed with armor. They were also fitted with advanced neural control devices, allowing humans to direct their actions. Humanity had successfully integrated the most lethal creatures of nature into the art of modern warfare. It was a risk, but it also posed an unexpected threat. Humans were on the verge of reaching the pinnacle of their development. Riven stood in a dark laboratory, surrounded by advanced technology displays and digital gauges. In front of him, he examined the shining metallic armor on a massive tiger. The cold light in the tiger's eyes sharpened, where technology met wild ferocity. The armor was not just a simple protection. It was a mechanism that increased its attack capacity, turning every movement of the tiger into a lethal weapon. Standing next to him was Quora, an experienced military commander who understood just how powerful this technology was. Her face grew more determined as she imagined the battlefield. Staring at the tiger, she spoke in a low, firm voice. "This could be our strongest asset in winning this war. The Thake are far more advanced in technology, but there's one thing they've forgotten. We'll try every means to survive. We're combining their technology with the force of nature. When we blend the two, we create an unstoppable force." Riven turned to her with a slight smile. "And we know exactly how to do it," he added. "Nature is humanity's oldest battlefield. The Thake have never been able to control the power of nature." With a command from the device in Riven's hand, the tiger sprang into action. As it strode through the laboratory with powerful steps, every joint in its armor silently flexed, striking a perfect balance between technology and nature. The tiger wasn't just moving by instinct. It was connected to a neural network controlled by human minds. "We've completed the trials," Quora said. "It's time for war." The chosen battleground was a forest deep in Earth's wilderness. The Thake had landed on Earth, making their first move to secure the area with heavy weaponry and warships. But unexpectedly, they found themselves facing predators clad in metal armor. The Thake commanders were momentarily stunned, not expecting their enemies to come from such primitive forces of nature. As Quora commanded the human armies, giant eagles began soaring in the sky. The laser weapons mounted on their backs could target enemy ships from a distance. When the eagles launched sudden aerial attacks, the Thake airships scrambled in chaos. The eagles' lasers pierced through the armor of the spacecraft with ease. The Thake's air superiority had been shattered in a matter of moments. From the forest, wolves and tigers surged into battle. The wolves, with vibration emitters in their armor, disrupted the Thake soldiers' internal communication systems. Their silent, swift attacks tore through enemy lines, leaving the Thake soldiers bewildered by the sudden and savage onslaught. Within seconds, dozens of soldiers from the front lines lay dead in pools of blood. The wolves moved so quickly that the Thake forces couldn't track or respond to them. Quora, watching from the mobile command center, never took her eyes off the battlefield as she issued her commands over the radio. "Send in the tigers," she shouted. At her order, the tigers charged toward the enemy positions. Their energy shields deflected the Thake's fire, and each swipe of their claws shredded armor and destroyed heavy weaponry. The tigers, using their laser-guided vision systems, identified distant targets and executed lethal strikes within seconds. One tiger leaped towards a Thake tank, its armor responding with lightning speed. The tiger's massive claws tore through the tank's metal shell as if it were paper. Then, with its colossal teeth, it ripped into the tank's energy core, causing the vehicle to explode in a fiery blast. This sight sent a wave of terror rippling through the enemy lines. The Thake commanders were forced to retreat. Despite their superior technology, they couldn't keep up with the speed and coordination of these wild predators. The humans' new battle strategy had taken them completely by surprise. Quora took a breath in the midst of the battle. Once again, humanity had succeeded in using nature and technology to their advantage. But this was not just a victory. It was the beginning of a new war. Now, the Thake had no choice but to take humanity seriously. The first strike had ended in a resounding victory for humanity. But the war was far from over. The Thake would return, stronger than before. This battle, which had started in the wilderness of Earth, was the spark of a galactic conflict. Quora and Riven knew that humanity's fate was tied to this war. As Thake ships began to gather in the sky, the next assault was imminent. The predators humanity had sent to the front lines, equipped with advanced armor and superior tactics, were preparing once again to face the Thake army. But this time, the scale of the battle would be far greater. Quora took her place in the mobile command center, studying the massive Thake warships above. Riven approached her, standing by her side. "They're more prepared this time," Riven said, analyzing the energy signals coming from the ships on the screen. "They've reinforced their defenses. They're much more resistant to aerial attacks." Quora nodded, her face set in determination. "We knew this would happen. But we're prepared too. Is the second wave ready?" Riven glanced over his shoulder at her. "Ready. This time, it's not just the animals. Humans will be joining the battle in armor, fighting alongside the predators." Deep in the forest, preparations were complete. Human soldiers were set to advance alongside the predators. The armor each soldier wore enhanced their movements, increasing their attack capabilities. Humans were no longer just warriors. They were a part of the battle itself. The Thake army launched a massive assault on the human forces hidden in the forest. Gigantic energy bombs rained down from the sky, shaking the earth with explosions. Humans and predators moved together. Wolves navigated the narrow forest paths, launching stealth attacks on enemy units, while tigers targeted the larger Thake vehicles. One of the tigers, activating its energy shield, charged at the heavily armored Thake war tank at the front of the enemy line. Its claws slashed the armor with a screech of tearing metal, and the massive tank toppled to the ground. Human soldiers followed immediately, opening fire on the enemy troops, cutting them down. The Thake soldiers were thrown into disarray. Meanwhile, as Quora advanced toward the front lines, she gave orders through the radio. "Forward! Humans and predators side by side. We will win this battle." With a roar rising from deep within the forest, humans and animals fought as one. Human soldiers timed their attacks with the swift movements of the animals. While tigers struck the first blow against enemy lines, the humans followed with deadly shots, moving with speed granted by their armor. Wolves prowled through the Thake soldiers, biting them while also sabotaging their communication devices. In the air, the eagles ruled the skies. Equipped with laser weapons and optical camouflage technology, these massive birds launched deadly strikes against the Thake warships. One eagle dove toward a ship's sensitive energy generator. Its descent was so fast that by the time the crew noticed, it was too late. The eagle's enormous claws pierced the generator, causing a massive explosion. The ship, engulfed in flames, plummeted from the sky, and the eagle quickly shifted its focus to the next target. Thake Commander Zeta watched the battle unfold from her ship. As she witnessed the deadly force of humans and animals working in unison, her anger swelled. "How is this possible?" she muttered to herself. She still didn't view humans as a threat, but their rapid rise in power both surprised and frightened her. Kelmer, one of her officers, approached. "Can you see how they fight in harmony with nature?" he said, his voice carrying a note of respect. "We only use our technology, but they have found a way to blend the savage power of nature with technology." Zeta turned to him in fury. "A civilization like ours cannot be defeated by these primitive creatures." But the reality on the battlefield was different. Humans and their predators had managed to push back the Thake army. Thake soldiers were panicking, and their armored vehicles and ships were being destroyed one after another. It was only a matter of time before their morale collapsed. As Quora moved through the battlefield, she gave the final order over the radio. One last attack. Wipe them out completely. With a final push, the predators and humans encircled the Thake forces. Tigers disabled the heavy weapons, while wolves hunted down the panicked enemy soldiers one by one. The eagles, now masters of the sky, brought down the remaining enemy ships, leaving the sky firmly in human control. When the battle finally ended, the Thake army had been utterly defeated. Zeta had no choice but to accept the loss. Kelmer turned to her and whispered quietly, We underestimated them. They fight not just with technology, but with a spirit that burns inside them. Quora and Riven watched the battlefield in the aftermath of the victory, realizing that humanity had just become one of the most powerful forces in the galaxy. This victory was not just the end of a battle. It was the beginning of a new era. Humans were no longer mere inhabitants of a single planet. By merging nature with technology, they had proven themselves to be the most dangerous warriors in the galaxy. I hope you had a good time. If you liked my story, do not forget to comment and subscribe to my channel. Goodbye. See you in the next story.